When the berets are new and stiff, they kind of make me look like a little Renaissance Italian, and the sleeves are not helping my case. We're not gonna be Renaissance Italians this week. We are going to be working on a little bit of stuff, not too much. We're going to be having a bit of a relaxed time because I have back-to-back shows in the end of September through October. I'm not coming home for 3 weeks for part of that, so I'm just gonna be a little bit of a sludge until I have to work on that. We were gonna do Cutie Fest, but we actually need to go have a meeting, so we won't be doing that. But I do have a little bit to work on for the carousel collection still. I have the classic and the monochrome, and I wanna get those colorways finished up this week. I also wanna do some animations for the Patreon. I got lost in the sauce during graduation, so I owe them a couple of animations still. I've been slowly catching up, and I think I can get fully caught up this week. I also want to do a restock at Fancy Plants. That's part of why we're not going to cafe today, because I want to have a big cafe day on Wednesday and go restock there. And I think that that'll be really nice. One of the cafes that I really like is over near them, so that's a perfect time to be doing that. Today was the launch of the berets. If it's on crooked, don't tell me about that. I don't need to know. I'm staying home. But those are here in the shop now. I'm very excited. Hopefully we'll get in a few orders for that. I'm going to do a lot of promo on those today. I'm going to be working a lot on the marketing end of things this week if I can help it. I have those couple of animations, like I said, and I'd like to do some more with the colorways for the carousel collection. But I think that for the most part, we're going to just have a relaxed, regular time, do some marketing, and hopefully get some orders in so I have something to pack. And I'm very excited about all of that.
Things did not go to plan this week, and I will be upfront about this right at the start of the vlog. It was one of those weeks where we were just going through it in every aspect of our lives, but I will say that this shop has been pretty good this week. My long-term goal is to get to a point where I'm getting an average of 4 orders per day, because that would really help me sustain the online store between markets and conventions. And this week I ended up getting about 1 per day, which is pretty solid. I would say that that means we're pretty well on our way to our goal. I'm also trying out a couple new consignment shops and updating my old ones. Between just absolutely going through it and doing some stuff that was not super exciting for video, this is a bit of a shorter, weirder week. But I am very proud of myself for finishing the things that I finished. It wasn't necessarily everything on my list, but it was a good amount. Right at the start of the week, I got some exciting news that I will be invited to the Gleeps and Glorps consignment store here in Washington. First and foremost, Gleeps and Glorps is a fantastic name for a store. I am obsessed. It's over in Bellingham, which is a little bit of a drive for us, and we don't currently have a car, so they allowed us very graciously to send things in by mail. I set up the online settings for those, and I got everything packed up. This is my first time doing something like this by mail, so I was a little bit nervous, but I did my best to get everything arranged, and I'll be sending them a mock-up first thing tomorrow. Prepping for something like this is a little bit different for me, and it took a little bit more brain power than I anticipated, especially when we were having a really stressful day as it was. But I made a quick little pencil drawing mock-up for myself, and then decided everything that I wanted to send to those guys. I made sure to set everything aside, and even if I couldn't prep everything for a good display, because displays for shops are different from what I would do for my artist alley setup, at least I got everything packed that I could. Wednesday, however, there was no such productivity. Brooke was having a really rough week at work, we were having some banking issues, and everything was compounding with work to make me feel really stressed out even when I didn't need to. But we got fantastic news on all fronts, so I could finally relax and we were finally normal again. I did not get shit done, but we went out for drinks and I think that they were extremely well deserved. And we saw my baby girl Felix. That was very exciting. Love him. And having a bit of a sludge day put me in a better mood for the next day. One of the big differences in how I do my display for the artist alley and for consignment shops is that I want to be able to set things up without having my grid cubes, which means I have to completely rearrange how I set everything up. So I have to make sure that I'm doing packaging special for the pins and for the hair bows. Pins are super easy because they can just be hung, and I just need a little itty bitty hole punch to make that happen since they're already on their backing. The bows are a little bit more complicated because I need to make a backing because I don't usually have one for them. It's not something that's actually difficult to do, it's just really annoying, and I wish wish that I'd done it on my Cricut. My hand was cramping so bad. As I get more used to doing consignment stuff, I think that I'll get a lot better at it. A lot of this week, though, was focused on getting that prepped and then also doing a bunch of marketing on TikTok and Instagram, which then led to me having to pack quite a number of orders. Like I said, it wasn't a crazy order week, but it was an order week that was really consistent. This order is going to Isabella. It's one of the Garden Party Ita bags and an enamel pin. I personally really love packing orders, and I've gotten to a point that I'm really excited if I have one when I wake up in the morning, because it means that I get to package it, and that's such a good start to my day. I can have my coffee and I can sit at my desk, and I have a little task that is manageable but gets me into the groove of things for the day. Packed up all my orders and I got everything prepared finally for the Gleeps and Glorps shipment. I also recently found out that the UPS near me will take USPS packages and ship those with USPS for you, which is awesome and means I don't need to make 2 trips. We also have an exciting bit of news on the Arirang Ita bag front. I'm very excited to announce that I am once again the asshole taking up all the embroidery machines in the factory, and those should be with us pretty soon. Celestial bags are also on their way, probably shipping out to you guys on September 5th-ish. After an extremely weird week, I got a little bit done at the cafe. I actually got work done. I was very proud of myself, and I finally made order fancy plants. Things have moved around in the store since I was last in, because it's been a hot minute since I was last here. Ms. Addie was extremely sweet and understanding of the fact that I'd just been out of state and out of country and hadn't been in for a refresh in a while. Because I have a different space than I did before, I did realize I want to completely refresh everything about it. So I did an itty bitty little update, got the enamel pins in and some of the new bows, and then decided that I was actually gonna come in next week and try again. If you're in Seattle and you go up to the University District, this is such a cute plant store, and the entire back is an artist consignment area. There are so many good artists, including my very first art school teacher. Also, speaking of Artist Alley, I was actually at a con, kind of. I'm telling you, it was a weird week for everybody. Kaylin over at Gentle Dragon Studios was very kind and set up my stuff at Hachicon. Hachi is a 2-day show in Utah, and the Artist Alley heads were so sweet to me last time I was in Salt Lake, and I was so happy to be able to be part of this event. Unfortunately, the flights were like $600 out of nowhere, which is crazy between Seattle and Salt Lake. I have never seen it that high before. Kaylin and I were roommates at Silver Age Comic-Con, and I was going back and forth about if I wanted to withdraw from Hachi because I just didn't know if it was gonna end up being worth it. And she was like, hey, I'm on the wait list. Would you like to split a table? I can run your half. And that was a fantastic setup for me. It ended up being a little bit slow, especially in our area of the Artist Alley, because it was extremely tight. There were last minute changes to the layout, and this is a little bit ridiculous. It's really bad. No one could move through very well. It was difficult to stop and actually look, let alone make a purchase. And overall, I'm really glad that I didn't end up flying out, because this was a little bit silly. Everyone who runs this show is extremely sweet, and I appreciate them so much, but this layout was really rough for both attendees and artists. I have some worries about the ADA compliance regarding this, because I don't know how you'd get through this in a wheelchair or power chair. While I wasn't there in person, I was told that it was a little bit slow over the weekend, but it was generally really nice. The attendees were sweet, and I can't ask for more than that. If y'all stopped by, thank you so much for coming by and making Kaylin's day. She said you were all wonderful.
You make a very good doll stand.
Thank you. Overall, a very strange week, but pretty positive for the most part. I am emotionally and physically tuckered out, but I'm very glad we got through it. Thank you all for watching this weird one. I'll see you next week.